You know that famous Jim Rohn quote? Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better.
Oh, yeah, it's a classic. And the second part, too, don't wish for fewer problems, wish for more skills.
Exactly. And it sounds almost simple, right? Like maybe something you just nod at on a poster.
But it's
Okay.
actually, well, it's this really core philosophy from him. Jim Rohn, I mean, the entrepreneur, the personal development legend, his ideas, they still really land today.
They really do. And his genius, I think, was taking these truths that seem kind of straightforward and showing how they can fundamentally shift how you approach, well, everything.
Absolutely. It's not about just, thinking positive thoughts. It's way more grounded. It's practical. It's about dealing with how things really are.
Right. And that's what we're going to dig into today in his deep dive. We want to unpack that single powerful sentence.
Yeah, see how it can genuinely change your perspective on your own growth, how you bounce back from stuff, and how you really take charge of your life.
Consider this like a direct line to figuring out how this applies to you right here, right now.
And we'll explore how it shows up in different areas, like your career, your relationships, even just your mindset, how you think day to day.
The goal is really to give you some solid, actionable things you can actually try out,
Yeah.
to fuel your own journey of becoming, well, better.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's dive into that first bit. Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. Now, let's be honest. When you hit a tough spot, doesn't that little voice pop up?
Oh, totally. That little voice wishing the obstacle would just vanish or the workload wasn't so heavy or things would just happen faster.
Exactly. It's just human nature, isn't it, to want the easier road?
It absolutely is. When things get hard, wanting ease is understandable. It often comes from feeling, overwhelmed, maybe a bit scared even.
Yeah.
But what Ron points out so cleverly is that focusing there, it keeps you stuck. You're basically just waiting for the world to change for you.
Right, which can lead to that feeling of being kind of powerless,
Yeah.
blaming everything else.
Precisely. And when you're focused out there on the external stuff, you miss the one thing you can actually influence.
It's just yourself.
Yourself, exactly. So Ron's idea kind of flips the script. Instead of wishing the challenge would shrink,
You focus on growing bigger to meet it.
yeah, you focus on increasing your own capacity, becoming more resilient, getting more skilled. So those same challenges just don't feel as massive.
It's like saying, don't wish the hike was flat, train so you're a better hiker. Makes sense.
It does.
Can you give us some examples? Like, how does this actually look in real life?
Okay. Think about a student facing a really tough exam. The first instinct might be, ugh, I wish this test was easier. Right.
Yep, been there.
But someone using Run's idea would shift. They'd focus on, okay, how can I become a better learner? Maybe find new study techniques, actually schedule consistent study time, maybe even ask for help. They're working on their own capability.
Okay, I get that. What about at work?
All right, imagine someone in a really competitive job market. They could spend energy wishing there weren't so many other talented people out there.
Sure.
Or they could channel that energy into sharpening their own skills, staying current in their field, maybe developing a unique personal brand. They're investing in their own value, making themselves more competitive.
And for entrepreneurs, that world's full of challenges.
Oh, definitely. A new business owner might wish, if only there weren't so many regulations, or man, I wish funding was easier to get.
Right.
But the Ron-inspired approach is, okay, how do I become a better leader, a smarter strategist? How can I innovate within my company to navigate these hurdles? Because the hurdles are probably going to be there.
So wishing for easier is kind of futile.
Pretty much. It's like Ron saw that your capacity is what really defines the difficulty, not the other way around. It's not just about gritting your teeth and pushing through.
It's about actively building the strength, the skills to handle it.
Exactly. And this internal focus, it connects to emotional maturity, really. Understanding that your input, your actions, they matter. It's not about blaming yourself, but recognizing, hey, I have the power to learn, to adapt, to get better.
Okay, that first part is clear. Now, the second piece, don't wish for fewer problems, wish for more skills. This one feels a bit weird at first glance. Who wants more problems?
Yeah, it does sound counterintuitive, doesn't it? But Ron isn't saying, go looking for trouble.
Okay, good.
What he's getting at is a fundamental truth. Problems are just part of life. They don't disappear when you achieve something. That idea that you'll reach some level and suddenly, poof, no more difficulties, is just not how it works.
But problems are inevitable. We shouldn't see them as just annoyances to avoid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ron kind of reframes them. He sees them as growth opportunities, maybe wrapped in frustration sometimes. They're the things that actually push us to develop, to get better. And that leads right into the second part of the quote. Problems aren't meant to just go away. They're meant to be solved. And solving them, well, that takes skills. You need the right tools in your toolbox.
Ah, okay. So the goal isn't a life with zero problems, because that's impossible. The goal is a life where you're equipped to handle the problems that do come up.
You got it. That's the core idea.
So what are the actual benefits then?
Yeah.
If I focus on getting more skills, how does that help when, life throws stuff at me?
Well, the advantages are pretty huge, actually. More skills mean, for one, better decision-making. You just have more knowledge, more experience to pull from.
Right.
It means you can often solve problems faster because you've got more effective strategies. Better communication skills. Huge for navigating disagreements or explaining solutions.
Okay.
Improved time management helps you juggle things without getting totally swamped. And things like leadership skills, they help you guide yourself and maybe others through the tough spots.
It's like leveling up in a video game, isn't it? Each skill you gain makes the next challenge seem a bit less scary.
That's a perfect analogy. As you gain skills, you start approaching challenges with a sense of, okay, I can handle this, instead of dread or wanting to run away. A problem becomes less of a wall and more of an interesting puzzle to figure out.
And this sounds a lot like that growth mindset idea people talk about.
It connects directly. Carol Dweck's work on the growth mindset, the belief that your abilities aren't fixed, that you can develop them through effort and learning. That's exactly what Ron is tapping into here.
Right.
When you believe you can get better, challenges stop being threats. They become chances to expand what you're capable of. Every problem you solve, every skill you pick up, it just reinforces that belief.
Okay, this philosophy is really starting to click. Let's make it super practical now. How do we actually apply this in, say, our careers? It's so easy to wish for less pressure or fewer demanding clients.
Yeah, but wishing doesn't really change anything in your career, does it? The Rohn approach, the proactive way, is to look inward. Okay, what skills would make me better at handling this pressure? Better at managing these clients?
So instead of complaining,
You invest in yourself. Maybe you take a course on project management, or you practice public speaking, or you work on your negotiation skills. Maybe you find a mentor. The point is, you focus on increasing your value. And usually, rewards tend to follow value.
okay, shifting from external wishing to internal building. What about relationships? They definitely have their growth opportunities.
Yes.
They certainly do. And again, the temptation is often to wish the other person was different or easier to understand, right?
EFT.
But Ron's philosophy pushes us to ask, how can I get better here?
Right.
Can I improve my communication? Can I practice listening more deeply? Can I cultivate more empathy? The quality of relationships often mirrors our own interpersonal skills, Oof. That one can be tough to hear, but it makes sense. It's easier to blame than to look at our own part. How about health and fitness? That feels like a constant battle for many people.
Totally. And the common wish is for a magic diet pill or workouts that are super easy but give amazing results instantly.
The dream.
Yeah, but the empowering approach is about gaining knowledge, learning about nutrition, understanding your body, figuring out how to train smarter, not just harder, developing the skill of consistency. When you know more, you feel more in control, less like you're just guessing or relying on willpower that comes and goes.
Puts the control back in your hands.
Yeah.
Okay, and finances. Wishing for fewer bills or a lottery win. Pretty universal.
Absolutely universal. But again, Ron directs us towards skill building, financial literacy, learning to budget properly, understanding investing basics, building saving habits, maybe exploring side hustles or ways to increase income.
Right.
As your financial skills grow, the problems, the bills, the unexpected expenses, they don't magically disappear, but your ability to handle them effectively, that grows significantly.
So across the board, it's this fundamental shift. Stop wishing the world was easier. Start working on becoming more capable.
Yeah.
You mentioned mindset shifts earlier, victim versus creator. Can we unpack that a bit more?
Yeah, that's a really core shift. The victim mindset is kind of like, ugh, life is so hard, it's happening to me, I just hope things get easier. It leads to feeling powerless, maybe blaming circumstances or other people. The creator mindset flips that. It acknowledges, yeah, life can be tough, and I'm going to get stronger, more skilled, more capable to meet those challenges. It's about taking ownership, stopping the waiting game, and actively working on yourself.
Moving from passive recipient to active agent. Got it.
Ah.
What about our desire for comfort? That's a strong pull.
It really is. Wishing for ease is basically wishing for constant comfort. And look, comfort feels nice, but it's rarely where the real growth happens, is it?
Probably not.
Progress usually happens right at the edge of our comfort zone when we're challenged. Those uncomfortable moments are often what spark new skills, new strength. Rohn understood that a fulfilling life isn't built on avoiding difficulty, but on growing through it.
And that last shift you mentioned, from trying to control everything to focusing on influence, that feels important too.
Hugely important. We want to control everything. The economy, other people, the traffic.
Yeah, definitely the traffic.
Right. But we can't, not really. So much is outside our direct control. But what we can always do is influence our response. And that's where skills are key. You can't control the economy, but you can influence your financial situation by saving, investing, learning.
Okay.
You can't control how someone else acts in a meeting, but you can influence the interaction with your communication skills.
Right.
Developing skills expands your circle of influence, even when control isn't possible.
This all sounds great, very logical, but doing it, that requires discipline, right? Ron talked about that too.
Oh, absolutely. This isn't magic. Self-improvement doesn't just happen by accident. It takes commitment. Consistency.
Right.
It means building habits. Habits like carving out time to learn, actually practicing new skills, reading things that expand your mind, looking at failures not as dead ends, but as data.
Learning opportunities.
Exactly. And maybe surrounding yourself with people who support that growth. It's not a one-time decision. It's an ongoing process.
So living this philosophy isn't just a thought exercise. It's about daily actions. Choosing growth over complaint, focus over distraction, courage over fear, consistently.
That's it, precisely. Weaving it into how you operate day to day.
You know, listening to all this, the word that keeps coming to mind is empowering.
It really is, isn't it? Because it tells you you're not helpless. You're not just stuck waiting for the world to change. You have agency. You can always work on yourself.
You don't need the external situation to get easier. You just need to get better.
And that's incredibly freeing, actually. It puts you back in the driver's seat. It means there's always a path forward through your own growth. And honestly, there's a kind of peace in that, too. Focusing your energy on what you can control yourself instead of endlessly battling things you can't.
Okay, this is powerful stuff. So for someone listening right now, feeling inspired, wanting to actually do something with this, what are some first steps? How do you start putting this into practice?
Okay, step one is just some honest self-reflection. Think about an area in your life right now where you feel kind of stuck or where you catch yourself wishing things were just easier.
Find that friction point.
Yeah, and ask yourself honestly, am I mostly just wishing here? Or am I genuinely willing to put in the effort to grow? Just identifying that is huge.
Okay, that's a clear start. What's next after identifying the area?
Step two is to get specific. Break down that challenge. What skills exactly would help you navigate this better? If it's, say, conflict at work, maybe the skills are active listening, setting boundaries, de-escalation techniques. Get granular.
Right, name the tools you need. Step three.
Find resources. Once you know the skills, look for ways to learn them. Books, online courses, workshops, maybe find a mentor, listen to podcasts on that specific topic. The information is usually out there. You just need to go find it.
Makes sense. Seek out the knowledge. Now the doing part, that can feel overwhelming.
Which is why step four is crucial. Take small, consistent daily actions. Big changes rarely happen overnight. It's the little things done consistently that add up. Read a few pages every day. Practice that communication skill in one conversation. Write for 15 minutes. Small steps build momentum.
Keep it manageable, but keep it moving. Love that. And the last step.
Reflect and adjust regularly. Maybe once a week, just check in with yourself. Ask, what did I actually do this week to get better in this area? How did I handle problems that came up? Did I wish them away or try to use my skills? And okay, what's the next small skill I can focus on?
So it's like a cycle. Identify, learn, act, reflect, repeat.
Exactly. It's a commitment to lifelong learning, to continuous evolution.
Wow. Jim Rohn's words. They really do pack a punch, don't they? Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for fewer problems, wish for more skills. It's more than just a saying.
It really is. It's like a practical guide for life, almost. When you embrace it, you stop feeling like life is just happening to you. You become the one shaping your response, your growth.
Challenges become learning labs. Problems become puzzles to solve. Self-doubt starts to fade as competence grows.
Beautifully put. You build that self-efficacy, that belief in your ability to handle things.
So as you go about your day, maybe think about those things that feel hard right now, instead of just wishing they'd ease up. What if you asked, how could I get stronger here? What skill could I build?
Yeah, focus on training yourself to climb that mountain, not just hoping the mountain shrinks. Who knows how high you could actually climb if you focused on your own growth?
That's the real key, isn't it? Your growth is the ultimate tool for navigating whatever comes your way. Something powerful to think about.